Welcome to episode 62 of Finding Your Hidden Superpower Autism, Asperger's, and those of us who are neurodiverse. So, today I'm going to be going back to checking out if you're still on track for your New Year's resolution. So, today I'm going to talk about well defined outcomes because your New Year's resolution, if it wasn't well defined, you may have a difficulty dealing with it right now because now that the holidays are over, people are getting back into the stream of things. They want to go back to normal, but also people want to change. So, how are you going to create change? Uh, are you thinking about the questions of who, what, when, where, how, however, uh, how much, how little? So, one of the things is that you have to be the person that wants to change. You actually have to follow through and do it, and then you can have the change. You can have your well defined outcome if you be, do, and then you can have. So, what do you do? What are you doing to create a positive, specific goal uh, to create this outcome that you're looking for your New Year's resolution? Are you stating your outcome in terms of your ability instead of what you really want and what you lack? Are you being passive? Are you being manipulative? Or are you being active and trying to help the community, try and help yourself and help others as well? Um, so, are you putting this in context? Do you know where you want to act on this and where it's not appropriate to act on this? Uh, what are your boundaries? What are your barriers? Are you going to need to ask other people to help you with this New Year's resolution that you want to go through with? Are you going to ask for people to keep you accountable? Are you going to not worry about that? Are you going to just hold it on to yourself? Is that going to work? So, how will you know when you reached your outcome? Uh, how will you feel? What will you feel? Where will you feel it in your body? Will you feel it anywhere in your body? Will you feel it in your gut? Will there be some tingly sensation on your skin? Um, will will you see it? And what will you see? What is it that you envision? Um, what? How will you appreciate your accomplishment? How will you celebrate? Will your celebration get in the way of completing your outcome? And so, some people, when they go on a diet, they can celebrate this extreme diet by eating cake or eating ice cream. Well, if you eat a whole cake, you're in trouble. You've already relapsed, and you've already depending on how you specified your goal, you may just want to get into a new dress for a wedding that's going to happen in 1 or 2 months. Or you're thinking about spring break, getting a bikini, uh, getting ready for something, that you're just looking to change temporarily. But if all you're doing is looking to change temporarily, you're going to go right back. And also, what people have found is that usually when they go back even worse. So, because the change was too difficult and not realistic, and so when they go back, they are you know paying themselves back for the amount of effort that they put into their goal, and they can be torpedoing their own results. So, how will you feel when you get this outcome completed. When you're completing your New Year's resolution, do you have a timeline? Do you have an end time that you need to complete this goal by, or is this a non-specific goal that doesn't necessarily have a timeline? If it doesn't have a timeline, it's a dream. It's not a goal. And then you don't have a plan in order to complete the goal. Uh, how will you know when the outcome is complete? Do you have a set end point for what you want to accomplish out of this New Year's resolution? Uh, what will your thoughts be when you complete this New Year's resolution? What will you hear from others? What will you be thinking inside your own head about? Will you celebrate? Will it be important? Will it be a landmark change to your entire life? Or is it just a tiny change? Uh, will foods taste different? Will you be able to go out and eat different foods than you've never tried before? Will you become more adventurous? Will you pull back and focus in more internally? Um, will you be able to stop to smell the roses when you complete this New Year's resolution? Um, you just remember you have to be the person that is the change. Then you got to follow through with the change, and then you will have the change. So, also, um, how will you break down the goal into smaller pieces? How will you, in one other episode, I talked about the power of chunking, breaking things down. So, chunking down a specific goal will help you build steps in which you can create milestones. And then once you complete that milestone, you can celebrate that you complete that milestone. But you got to move on to the next step. What kind of support will you need? Who are they? What are their names specifically? What are their titles? What are you asking from them? And what are they willing to do for you? And what's in it for them? How much will it cost? What kind of promises will you have to make to others to help you achieve this goal? So, what's in it for them? Because you have to explain what's in it for you, and you have to explain why they would want to help you. Because, bottom line is, there are selfless people out there, but at the same time, they only have so much energy to help you with whatever you need to get done. And if you don't explain the end goal, if you don't explain why it's in it for them, why they can get something out of it themselves, they're only going to help you a little bit. And then they might only help you one or two times, and then they'll have to move on because they are busy with their own lives. Uh, when are you going to put in checks and balances to make sure that your goal, this New Year's resolution, is realistic? And are you going down the wrong rabbit hole? And are you putting your ladder up on a wall that you're trying to get over, that the ladder is only 12 feet tall and then the wall is 100 feet tall? So, and you're not looking at how many feet you've gained and how many more feet you got to go in order to complete this. Um, and so, are you checking about if you're having to violate any of your values? What are your values? Have you even thought about that? What are the values that you're using? And are you asking others to violate their values in order to help you? Because if they are, you're going to get a bunch of resentment and you can lose some friends over that. A lot of the times, just as a sidebar, a lot of the times people start up with this MLM, multi level marketing business, side business, and they don't know who to sell to. So all of a sudden they start asking all of their friends. And then if they start pestering all of their friends, they won't have any friends. All they'll have is associates, business partners, and all they'll be doing is going down the rabbit hole of trying to chase money that's not there in the first place. So, um, so what will you do? How are you going to measure success? How are you going to measure tiny successes? How are you going to celebrate? How are you going to track those? How are you going to track it? Are you tracking it? Because if you don't track a new goal, and especially your New Year's resolution, if you're not tracking it, you've already abandoned it. So, also, will this, whatever you're doing, this New Year's resolution, if you're producing something, um, are you testing it to make sure that it actually works? Or are you just hoping that it works? Are you looking at the theories? Do you need to go back to the drawing board? And instead of abandoning it, you will need to test it. You'll need to figure out what are the weak points, what are the strong points. You got to figure out what's working and what's not working. You got to be flexible and to let go of what's not working, even though you may have uh, really put a lot of effort into that. That may not be part of reality, and you may not have known that until you've gotten to a specific point in which you're in unknown territory, and then you're going to have to rethink what reality is. And that's the bottom line. Is a lot of times people just think that all they can do is they can ask somebody to do them a favor, and then, oh yeah, it's really easy just to get this done. I just haven't put the effort into it, so now I'm putting the effort into it. Well, you might be able to put the effort into something, but if you don't understand what you don't understand, you'll get trapped. And unless you're flexible, you won't be able to change that. So you need to do, just like computer software, they do alpha testing, beta testing, they do an initial launch, and then they figure out, they ramp up. However many people are using it, couple hundred people could use it in the alpha test, a couple thousand people could use it in the beta test, but tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people are going to use it in the launch. And still, because for instance, Microsoft updates their operating system at least once a week, and that operating system has been around for eons, since you know Windows 3.1 was in 1995, and we're in 2023, and they still do updates because everything's fluid. So, do you need to do updates? Is your objective? Um, is your New Year's resolution dealing with a fluid situation, or is it just some concrete goal that once you complete it, you don't need to change anything, that you've completed it and then you've moved on to something else? So you need to think about those things. So just remember, use all of your senses, your eyesight, your feelings, your emotions, your so, yeah, and remember, ask all these simple questions of how, what, when, where, who, however, um, and ask what's working, what's not working, try and figure out what's not working, and then you may have to be very flexible to make sure that you are being the person that wants to change, and then you're doing what needs to be done in order to change, and then you will have your goal, your outcome. And also, it may not be exactly what you thought it was going to be. So you may not want that goal. You may want to shift that goal to something different now that you've experienced that. And even there's the only time you ever fail is when you set a timeline on it. And if you're able to be fluid about that timeline and realistic, then you can change that timeline, and then all of your what you're doing is part of a learning experience. It may be the school, you may be going to the school of hard knocks, but that's sometimes what it takes, especially with us people that are neurodiverse. So I know I've been to the school of hard knocks a lot, but I've been able to persevere. And I'm one of the last people standing in all of the jobs I worked at. A lot of people come and go, but I'm sticking to it. But at the same time, whatever you pick to do in life, if it takes up too much energy and it's destroying the other parts of your life, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope you can click, like, subscribe, and let other people know about this channel. And I hope it can be helpful to you. And so I hope that you're able to get what you feel you deserve. And but at the same time, you got to put in the work, and you got to work the connections, and do not manipulate people, because that will burn you bad. And just be honest with people. If they can't help you, you just move on to the next person. Uh, there are always people out there that are willing to help. You just have to work hard to find them. And that's part of human nature. We all want to be interconnected, we all want to help each other. But at the same time, we all want to know what's in it for me. So you have to let them know what's in it for them, and they will let you know how much effort they're going to be able to put into being able to help you get reach your goals. So because it's your life, it's your goals, so people aren't going to do it for you. So have a great day.